So 2017 has come to a close and it is now 2018, and that means it is time for me to talk about my top 10 favorite and least favorite movies of that year. I'm Jared.
I'm Hannah.
And this is the top 10 best movies of 2017. In this video, we're each going to give you individual lists that we have made, and we haven't shown each other these lists, so it's going to be just as a surprise to each other as it is to you guys. However, we have seen the same movies this year, for the most part, so don't expect our lists to be extremely different, but there were movies that you have seen that I haven't seen, and there's probably a bunch of movies that y'all have seen that we haven't seen, because we don't see all the Oscar-worthy movies.
Alright, Jared's going to start us off with his 10 through 6, and then we're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to say my 10 through 6, and we'll talk about it.
And then after that, we're both going to do our 5 through 1s and discuss it, and then that'll be that.
And then we will give you our top 10 worst films of 2017.
And let's be honest, we know that's the one you all really want to watch.
Yeah.
Alright, who's going first?
You.
Number 10.
Alright, coming in at number 10 is The Fate of the Furious. So The Fate of the Furious is the 8th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise. Now the Fast and Furious franchise, I'm kind of a mixed bag for me. The first through 4 I thought were alright, and then the 5th one through the 7th I thought were great. So I figured this one is going to be great because they just keep getting bigger and they just keep getting more badass. And this one did not disappoint. And not only did it get bigger and more badass, but it also gave me a more touching personal story than I was ever expecting to get from a movie of this franchise. So I feel like it deserved the spot of number 10.
Number 9.
Coming in at number 9 is a movie that was directed by one of my least favorite directors of all time. Ironically, that was Split. Split was a movie that came out really early in the year, and it really took me by surprise because it was directed by someone that I really don't like, M. Night Shyamalan. But he has come out with good things, and I think that maybe he's like coming back. And the ending of this movie was honestly what made it get on this list, because it totally like came out of nowhere and nobody was expecting it to happen. And I totally haven't mentioned James McAvoy's performance. That is also a big reason why it's on this list. He kills it in this role. Split is number 9.
Number 8.
Alright, coming in at number 8 is John Wick Chapter 2. Another action movie, probably the last action-centered movie on my list. It didn't disappoint. I was a huge fan of John Wick 1, and John Wick 2 was exactly like the first one. It gave me everything I love with a different story, and it did something that the first one did better than the first one did, and it made me feel more satisfied than the first one did. Therefore, I feel like John Wick at least deserves recognition.
Number 7.
At number 7 is Edgar Wright's awesome movie of the year, Baby Driver. Now, Baby Driver was Edgar Wright's movie. It gave me the feels of all his old movies, kind of like Scott Pilgrim and Hot Fuzz, but it felt like something new, and it introduced the character Baby. It satisfied me with a really entertaining, action-packed romance.
Number 6.
And now at number 6 is the most recent movie I have watched that I know hasn't seen. That was The Disaster Artist, with James Franco and Dave Franco playing as Tommy Wiseau and the other guy that helped make the movie The Room. While I was just expecting a really funny spoof movie about one of the worst movies ever made, but what I got was a real personal, touching story that was a lot more than just a comedy and a lot more than I'd expect from James Franco, and easily the best James Franco movie I've ever seen. So I gotta say The Disaster Artist is up there. Alright, so that's my 10 through 6.
Well, you know a lot more about movies than I do with the actors and who makes them. I loved Baby Driver. It was a really, really good movie.
Yeah, I know you love that movie. We've seen it multiple times together. So now Hannah's gonna give me her 10 through 6.
Number 10.
Coming in at number 10 is Annabelle Creation. I really liked this movie a lot. It had really good creepy scenes, and I'm a horror movie fanatic. I love stories about evil, eerie spirits taking over objects like dolls.
Number 9.
Coming in at number 9 was Fate of the Furious. I haven't seen the other movies, but I know enough about them to know what was going on in this movie. And It was really, really good, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Number 8.
Number 8 was Wonder Woman for me. I really enjoyed the costumes or armor that the women were wearing throughout the film, and I can't even imagine like how uncomfortable all that could have been for them, but they did a really amazing job. And the story behind it as well was really good, and the acting in it was really good too.
Number 7.
Coming in at number 7 for me was War of the Planet of the Apes. Now, I've seen both of the other movies, and just all three of them it's just an amazing franchise. They did so good, and then just along the way, just watching how the CGI, it's like completely different. It's just brand new, it's better. Not only that, the storyline itself was really, really good. Very emotional, happy emotions, sad emotions, angry emotions. You just get all of it in that one movie.
Number 6.
Coming in at number 6 was a movie that I saw but he didn't see, and it was Coco. And oh my gosh, this movie is so cute, and like I just love I love the Mexican culture aspect of the movie. I love that they actually bring this into an actual movie. The music in it was really good and groovy, and I enjoyed everything about this movie. It was colorful, the storyline was very cute, and it also made me cry. It was so good. Now Jared's going to talk to us about his 5 through 1.
Number 5.
Alright, so these 5, let me just say, before I list them out, almost are impossible to give an order to. Because all 5 of these movies, in my opinion, are number 1 of this year. I love them all equally, but I have to put them in some order, so I have a reason for putting them in this order. And here are those 5. Number 5 is the best horror movie we have gotten since I can remember. Since before I was born, and that was It. It blew me the fuck away. It was creepy, it had great characters, it scared the hell out of me, it really affected me deeply, and it hurt me emotionally. Bill Skarsgård is the perfect Pennywise. He is better than the old Pennywise, and the movie It is better than the old It, and I grew up loving the old It, and honestly, I feel like this movie is better than the original, and that means it goes to number 5.
Number 4.
Alright, coming in at number 4 is my favorite superhero, Spider-Man Homecoming. I love this movie. I've seen it so many times since it came out. It's so much fun. It put a badass villain in it, and Tom Holland plays the perfect Spider-Man still. After Civil War, we still know he is the best Spider-Man that we've gotten on screen, and everything about this movie I loved and adored. I've seen it a billion times, and I'm probably going to see it a billion more and not get tired of it.
Number 3.
Alright, pulling its way into number 3 is the end of a franchise. Well, not really a franchise, but it's at least the end of the main character of a franchise that we have grown to love for a really long time. And that is War for the Planet of the Apes. War for the Planet of the Apes really affected me emotionally. It was action-packed, yet the slowest of the 3, and it still was the least boring, and it was the one that moved me the most out of the trilogy. I love all 3 movies, but I think this one's my favorite. It blew me away. I love War for the Planet of the Apes.
Number 2.
And coming in at number 2 was a movie I had at number 1 for a while. For a really long time. And that was Logan. I loved Logan. It made me fucking cry. It broke me. Logan is the most emotional movie of the year, probably of the last few years. I've seen it several times. It never ceases to amaze me, and it never ceases to break my heart. And the only reason that this movie didn't get number 1 is simply the fact that it is so sad I don't see myself watching it all the time. It's the only reason why it's not number 1.
Number 1.
But my number 1 is extremely rewatchable. The best time I've had at the theaters in a really long time. And probably the most thought-provoking, psychological thriller I have seen in so many years, and that was Get Out.
I knew it.
Came out super early in the year, blew me away when I saw it. I've seen it so many times since then, and it was just fucking wonderful. A masterpiece. The movie is a work of art. It was directed by Jordan Peele, of all people. Like, of Key and Peele, like a comedian directing his first movie, and it being this movie, a movie that absolutely blew me away 100% in every way. I can't think of very many flaws with this movie. Every time I watch it, I notice something different, and it's wonderful.
I'm not surprised with your last two, just because, like, I know that it's 50-50 for both, because they were both really, really amazing.
Well, I imagine that your 5 through 1 is similar to mine, because I know that we like the same movies. Logan's gonna be on there.
Number 5.
Coming in at number 5 for me was Baby Driver. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the soundtrack of this movie. I enjoyed the thought process of this movie and the actors. Go see it. You won't be disappointed.
Number 4.
Coming in at number 4 was Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, I've seen all the other Spider-Man movies, and they were all very good. But this one was just a little different, and I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the action, I enjoyed the humor, I enjoyed the little plot twist that people know about if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, go see it because you need to see it.
Number 3.
Coming in at number 3 was It. Now, I've seen the first one growing up a few times. Even though I'm not a big fan of, like, killer clowns, I still like the movie for itself. This new one brought out a lot of different feels, I guess you could say. Like, it made me scared for the most part. It was tense throughout the movie theater. You could hear a pin drop. Bill Skarsgård was an amazing Pennywise. All the extra things that he was doing just to make him more creepy. He did a really amazing job, and I can't wait for the next one.
Number 2.
Coming in at number 2 was Get Out. Oh my gosh. I love this movie. Like, the first time I saw it, I was like, what the actual
Fuck
is going on? No, like, this movie was amazing. Like, every time I watched it, I caught on to more of the plot twists that was happening and certain things that were going on throughout the film. I caught on. Every time I watch it, I just get more and more surprised. It's amazing to believe that a comedian can direct a movie and it actually be, like, creepy and eerie.
Number 1.
Coming in at number 1 for me was Logan. Alright, so everybody, this amazing lad over here showed me every single X-Men movie, and I, like, fell in love with their series of movies. In this one, it was mainly about Logan himself, and it was just like, although it was like really heartbreaking and sad, and it also came with a good ending, and it was just a really, really good movie overall, and I really enjoyed it.
The ending of Get Out, in my opinion, was the best ending we got all year. I thought it was the most satisfying ending. And the ending of Logan was the saddest and the most heartbreaking. It was really good and really...
This is Jackson.
It was really effective at what it was trying to do, and it was a good farewell to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But I gotta think, in terms of, like, when I left the movie, I left Get Out with the biggest smile on my face. I left Get Out thinking about it more than I left thinking about any of the other movies. And it's the one that stuck on my mind the most.
Personally, I thought Logan was better than Get Out just because there were a lot of movies that came up to this point, and you got to know and love the characters for so many years. And with Get Out, you meet all these characters up front, and you don't know much about their background story.
So you're saying a fanboy movie is better than, like, an original movie?
No, I'm not necessarily trying to say that, but just, like, overall, like, just the movie itself was, like...
No, I get it.
Good.
I get it. I mean, shit, if you watched my top 10 video that I did last year, I put Captain America Civil War as my number 1. I fanboyed all out on that one. And give us y'all's top 10 best and worst lists in the comment section as well. And if you like what you've seen here, then go ahead and subscribe to see more.